Good evening, my friends out there in Facebook land, friends and neighbors. How are y'all doing this evening? Hope you've had a very good, busy Saturday, productive Saturday indeed. Let me make a little adjustment here. My handle's hitting the top of my laptop. Might be easier to make an adjustment on the laptop. Might be better. There we go. Sometimes we don't see the obvious, do we? Anyway, we had a good day myself. Plenty of things going on today. A nice warm day, probably somewhere right in the 90s, about 3 o'clock in that world there. I went out today to work out, and I was working out there. There were several people out there. A good thing, I got to meet a lot of them. And today was not one of my better days as far as being top-notch as where I normally am. As we're working through the week this past week here, trying to overcome last weekend's ailments where I spent a whole weekend, couldn't hardly hold my head up, a little dehydration going on and some other things there. But anyway, excuse me, overcame all that and started back at it again. Didn't give up on it. Was right back at it on Tuesday morning. Took all the way to Monday night to get over it. But anyway, the thing to get to today is that I was out there, I was watching many people that was out there in the heat with me doing their little workout thing. And one of the gentlemen out there with me was one that was about 72 to 73 years old. He wouldn't exactly tell me, but we had a short conversation as I'd passed by him a couple of times. He walked real slow, but the point was he was out there also exercising, even though it was just walking around the track. It was what he could do, trying to get himself into shape, and keep his health up a little bit. And that was a good thing. That was inspiring to see that. And I thought about this video and this product we were talking about last night and tonight also, and then again we'll be talking about it tomorrow at some point. And that is the 9 herbs that I think that you ought to have in your diet that would help you to have a healthy heart. And this comes to us because as I studied a little bit, I found out that that 1 out of 3 Americans over 30 have some sort of heart disease or are at risk for a high risk for some sort of heart issue at that point. And that's really an alarming thing when you think about that. But yet at the same time, you look at the environment that many of us live in, and we say it's no wonder that it's that way because of, look at what people eat. Look what's being thrown at us. Look how we're having to act. Look what we're not doing anymore. As many people are not doing any exercises because the track, my friends, was not full of people out there today. A total of 5 out there with me today. In that, and there was a coach who had some children out there who was trying to teach them soccer and stuff, and they lasted probably 20 minutes and then they were gone because it was indeed quite a warm day. And of course you have to look at that with children also. They can't take as much as adults can, or they should not be able to. Sometimes they can take more than the adults depending on the condition that they're in. But anyway, let me get on to the subject at hand here this evening. And I want to talk about, and I changed my board around from last night, and you can see on the behind me here, I got rid of a heart aid, because this is what we're talking about, is things that help out with the health of our heart. Because, my friends, when the heart does not work, nothing works. Nothing else is more important than getting your heart back into the condition it needs to be, because it does not do its job properly. You feel really bad. A lot of fear comes over you. You get a lot of attention that you do not really want, and that being from doctors and nurses and sometimes family members coming to sit with you and talk about the good old days. And that may happen. I'm not trying to put that down, but I'm trying to say that prevention, my friends, is something that we ought to strive to do. To try to make things happen in our life. The best way to predict your future is to create it. So we want to continue with this evening, but a little review. Because of what I just said, there's about 1 out of 3 over 30 are at risk, and that's right on up. I'm way beyond 30 myself. But there are some things out there that I probably could have done better back there when I was 30. But anyway, one of the herbs, the main herb of this here synergistic. That is, and when I say synergistic, that is a group of things put together to operate as one whole to give you the best benefit. You know, and that's kind of like your body. It's a synergistic body, and when you treat it right, it operates as a whole to give you the best things to make you have an enjoyable life. But hawthorn berry was one of the ones that I said is the main ingredient in this little synergistic bottle here, or plan, or design, or whatever. And you know, and I'm not going to go over everything, but the reason it was such a main thing is because it was able to protect the arterial wall in the heart, and it also had was able to strengthen your pumping capabilities, to be able to be a stronger pump. You know, as your heart pumps, we talked about it like a pitcher well. You know, that was, if you got blood coming to it, then it pumps good. Then you got a good flow of water. Which is the next thing it done was it dilated the vessels, the coronary vessels, so that you have a bigger vessel, a more expanded vessel, to be able to have more blood to come through without having blockages in it, and to create some good things. And that was why this is considered the main thing. And I said it was also the most recommended herb and used herb over in Europe for heart conditions or heart prevention, to make it to where you do not have to have the heart surgeries and so forth. The second thing I talked about here was the cayenne peppers. And the cayenne peppers can be used in many different things. You know, it's been used many, many, many years as an elixir to help your heart out. In fact, one doctor many years ago recommended that if you thought you was having a heart attack, or you knew you were, that if you could take one of those cayenne pepper capsules and bust it open and put it in your tongue, and as hot as it may be, you know, that would be, I think if I remember correctly, around 40,000 IUs into it of heat, that the product that was in that thing could cause you to stop having that heart attack. Now, I'd have to go back and look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he taught, because cayenne pepper has some very powerful things that it can do, and one is that it definitely reduces your LDL cholesterols. It helps to reduce the triglycerides that are in your system, and it also helps your platelet aggregation, which, you know, causes sticking stuff on the walls. You know, you talk about, we don't want that to happen. That helps prevent that, okay? Helps to prevent that. And then we talked about here, let me get my turn around here. I'm backwards reading that, so I wrote it backwards so y'all could read it. Now I can't. Cilantro, which is basically what it is it has some antimicrobial properties, and it's rich in phytonutrients. One of the main ones for your heart, one of the main ones, and you probably never heard of it till the other night, is quercetin. It's a flavonoid, you know, that is lacking in many diets, and it's a very good antioxidant and inflammatory fighting product, which helps out your heart. So those are the things that I went over last night. I believe that was the last ones there that we went over. And go back and watch that video. You'll find some interesting things there about that. And so tonight we want to continue on with 3 more. As I said, I believe there are 9 altogether that we want to share with you. And so the next one that we want to look at here is a guglipid, if I'm pronouncing that right again. Some of these names are very difficult. But anyway, basically this here comes from a gum resin that has another name before it. And if I'll spell it out for you, oleogum. And it's a resin, and it has been clinically proven to be able to reduce the levels of harmful serum lipids in your bloodstream. You know, if it gets them out of the way, then there's nothing for them, no harm for them to do further down. And so that's one of the main things it's used for. And that's about all I have of information on that. But like I said, they're putting these things together who operate together so that you have a very powerful herb as a combined whole to help your heart be better. So, guglipid, I believe, is the way. Now it just now comes to me as I look at it again. The second thing to look at tonight is one that's been used many, many ways, many, many different things Years ago, I remember it being one of the main things people use for blood pressure until they've learned more about it. There was a special way to get your powders out of it, used in spaghettis and lasagnas, and to keep vampires away. It might be, I don't really know where that came from, but anyway, as far as how they arrive at the garlic would keep vampires away, it may be just a bad taste in blood. They wouldn't bite you in the neck, I think, maybe. Who knows? But anyway, what this has, it has some sulfur-rich, and I don't know if you can actually see that down there or not. It's writing on my screen, so I can't tell. But it has sulfur-rich compounds in this garlic and it has many health-promoting effects from that sulfur compounds. Now, some people are allergic to sulfur drugs, and many times over the counter, not over the counter, but prescription-wise, doctors will recommend sulfur drugs for people, and there's one reason that they do that is because it works. I have several animals of different sorts, and they scratch themselves, and they different diseases come upon them, or they bite themselves raw. And so I have a tube of sulfur, pure sulfur in a liquid form. Somebody's got anyway. It's got some stuff, and you can squeeze the tube, make it all, mix it all up, squeeze it out on your hand. Stinks, man. Woo, stinks. But you put it on those sores, on those animals, those hot spots. And one, they don't lick it and bite it no more. Two, within a day or so, it's gone. Sulfur is very powerful when used in the correct, and when you have it in the correct form and used in the right way. It is a very powerful healing agent. And so this is what is in garlic. And whenever you consume it on a regular basis, it does do, as I said earlier, it helps to lower the blood pressure in many people. Because these two, the hawthorn and the garlic, used to be the main two in high blood pressure products they made years ago, according to the health food store I used to attend as a regular lunch visit that I've done just to try to learn to see these things here. It also helps to lower the triglycerides, and see, that's what I was talking about. They're combining these things together because up here, the cayenne reduces the same stuff. The hawthorn reduces the same stuff. And so when you have all these things working towards the same goal, then you have a really, really powerful effect on your body, making you have a really strong heart that just pumps and pumps and pumps, and you feel good, and you can last a long time, and you can enjoy life. And so it also helps to increase the HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterols. And I've said this before, you need cholesterols. They are what you make your hormones from in your body, and there's more than one hormone now. There's a lot of hormones, and we have to have those things. And so garlic is one that we use as to seasoning, and you can get that in many forms. You can even, like I said, it's in spaghetti. And you can take and press that juice out of it, and there's another ingredient that's inside of that I won't get into, that's actually the main ingredient that you're after from the fresh garlic. And of course, there's all kind of nice processes from that to get that proper product out of the garlic to get the most benefit to you when you get it in your hand. And then ginger. Ginger. Had a woman one time, she said, who in her, she said, who in the world would name their daughter after an herb? And I looked at her and I said, Ginger? I don't have no idea who would do that. Because that was her name, was Ginger, and she didn't realize what she was saying. Anyway, that was just kind of funny there. But ginger ale, remember that years ago? They still have it. Ginger ale has ginger root in it. A lot of the drinks that were originally formed came from the herbs. Using the herbs, that way you got a benefit out of it. But now it's not the case anymore. Many times those things are now bought out by bigger companies, and they've replaced it with more manufactured stuff, which is not good for you. So that's why those things need to go out. Seem to be losing my voice, but that's okay. Anyway, ginger also. And see, in my times of using ginger was always used for a transport. In other words, when you took ginger root with other vitamins, it helped to transport those vitamins to the places that they needed to be in the body. Sort of like fulvic acid. not folic acid, fulvic, F-U-L-V-C, I believe it is, fulvic acid, which helps to transport stuff throughout the body to where it's needed. And so ginger does indeed do the very same thing, but it also has some other properties, which is it helps to lower blood cholesterols, which are wrong, reduces blood clotting. You know, many people have some problems with clotting. I had a man one time, my outside salesperson, his father had blood clots in his lungs, had to go to California, sit out there, and they'd done surgery on his lungs, and he was out there for over 2 months recuperating from that. Ginger helps reduce blood clotting. And, you know, and if you throw a blood clot, this is what they say many times, you'll have a stroke. You know, so you want to keep these things down. This is important stuff here. It also helps to relieve pain. That's interesting that ginger root would actually help you to relieve pain. And so it also improves joint mobility, meaning mostly they've seen this recognized that whenever people get up in the morning, you know how it's very hard to walk because we have some kind of morning stiffness due to the rheumatoid arthritis or arthritis of any sort, really. And they found that this helps out the most in that area. But they're using it in this group here to be able to help reduce the cholesterols and so forth and the blood clotting so that your heart pumps better. Now, when your heart pumps better, of course, what are you doing? You're getting blood up and down the whole body better. Many times when we have swelling feet, they'll tell you, well, lay down and put your feet above your head. You know, and then you're stuck all day trying to get the blood to come back. Well, you know, the blood's got to pump back up those feet too. And so the stronger your heart is, the better off you are. And whether you're sitting down, standing up, lying down, it needs to be doing its job. And then we're going to stop there this evening. There's 3 more. We could carry on, but last night I didn't want to be long. It ended up being almost 20 minutes. So, my friends, I want to stop there this evening because there's 3 more special herbs you need in your diet there that you can help out. And it being this gluglipid and the garlic and ginger in all those areas will help out and to reduce your cholesterol, stop inflammation, to improve your good cholesterols. You help also with the pain that goes on, anti-inflammatory, all these good things, my friends. And you can get these things and put them in your diet. You can cook with them, and it will certainly help out. But as I said many times, it's much easier to get it already formulated for you. And if I can help you with that, if that's something that you're open to looking at, I will be most certainly glad to help you do that, to see if it's something that you would like to try out. And if you will contact me here by leaving a note below, sending me an instant message, sending me your email. I'm sure my phone number is even on this Facebook page. It's about to say website, because my next thing was going to say that these 2 videos and 1 more are going to be part of a blog that I'm going to finish up whenever I get through here. I'll come back and state that above this video, so you can click on that and go and read some more about these things and be able to rewatch these at the same time if you like as well. And you have an opportunity there also to get a free gift that will help you out with this also. My friends, hope you've had a good day. Get off your butts, do some exercise, put some good nutrition in your body, live a long time. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.